welcome aboard to the 2024 Toyota 4Runner TRD Off-Road Premium. Let me show you guys around. For $52,000, you get a 4-liter naturally aspirated V6 with 278 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. And it definitely goes. It's very quick, not right off the line, but it has a lot of mid-range power for sure. And believe it or not, it's actually made it to a 5-speed automatic transmission, making it one of the last 5-speed autos on the market. Let's begin with the exterior of this 4Runner. Now, it hasn't changed in several years. As a matter of fact, the last major redesign was in 2009. We're expecting one in just a couple years here, but this front end has aged beautifully. I love the way that Toyota added this plastic silver paint on the front bumper right here. I think that looks fantastic. I love the way that the entire front bulges. I'll show you guys on the side here. But you can see with this beautiful nautical blue paintwork, this entire front end bulges outward and gives you a tremendously good approach angle, and that'll be important for some reasons I'll talk about later. But we have full LED headlights and halogen turn signals with fog lights on the bottom as well. I love the pattern on the grille as well, keeping it nice and updated, bringing it into 2024. I also really like these TRD alloy wheels. These look absolutely fantastic, and they'll honestly look good on any 4Runner. Very simple and a great choice for this 4Runner. I also like the fender flare they put on here as well. They did the same thing with the Tacoma, and I really appreciate it. Now, looking at the side profile, it is just an iconic side profile. Ever since the older 4Runners, going back to the retro look that they had with the first generation 4Runner, with this 5th gen model, it looks fantastic. I love the way they have this giant C-pillar right over here with the TRD off-road badging right there. I love these big chunky door handles with the little tunnel out for the handle right there to make it look a little more bold. I also really like how the entire fender is bulged out into the back door, almost giving it a 2-door look. If you cover the door handle, it almost looks like a 2-door again, like the old one. Now on the back, we have LED taillights and halogen turn signals. Back in the day, this was one of the first Toyotas to have LED taillights, and so it's really nice that they've kept those. On the back, we have this really awesome, rugged looking back end. One of my favorite features is this 4Runner badge actually has a built-in lock and unlock button, so you can do that with the keyless entry. And of course, as I'll show you guys later, this back window actually slides up and down. So overall, a really great looking exterior. I also can't forget that the silver trim on this TRD trim also carries on to the back. And of course, we have a tow hitch right here as well. If you want to do some towing with your 4Runner, you can do that, because again, we have a lot of torque from the 4-liter V6. And we also have a space saver spare wheel in the bottom there. But while this nautical blue looks amazing on this 4Runner, let's check out some of the really cool off-road technology inside of its interior, where we have this awesome leather wrap steering wheel with perforation. I especially like the 9-3 grips. The buttons here are really easy to use. They control this little center screen here, which gives you a plethora of different data and allows you to also customize the safety assist systems. Down here you have your cruise controls. Over here you have some more safety controls. You have your hang up and call buttons right over here, and of course you have all of your audio controls over here. Nice horn, sounds like a really good horn. Turn signal and headlight controls are going to be right over here, and of course we have our wiper controls right here as well. Over here you got your mirror controls, a little bit different from the Tacoma, but I do like them, very old school. Of course you have your gauge cluster controls. This is your auto high beams. So as you can see here, it is auto high beams, and we can hit the back button to dismiss that message. Over here, this activates your power inverter for your power outlets in the back. And this guy right here is your windshield de-icer. Over here, we have some window controls. These are a little bit different because they are definitely higher up than where you would usually expect them to be. You get a nice big grab handle right here. Lots of nice soft touch materials over here, which is definitely nice at a Toyota of this price point, being that this is a $52,000 4Runner. You got some hard plastics up here, but they feel relatively solid. And the steering wheel, of course, is tilting and telescoping, which is very much welcomed. Over here we have Toyota's slightly older infotainment system. It has only wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it is nice that we get those in the first place. I like all the physical buttons. All of them have a really nice squidgy feel to them. The volume's easy to adjust. I like the tuning knob over here too. Very easy to use. Down here is the physical climate controls. I absolutely love how giant these dials are. They are incredibly easy to use, especially while looking away from everything. Of course, we have heated mirrors as well, and we even have a heated steering wheel. So overall, great climate controls. Down here, we got a bunch of little storage pockets right over here. We have a USB-A port for your CarPlay, a little 12-volt socket, passenger airbag light. Of course, you have your 2-speed transfer case right over here. I love that it's properly old school right over here. You can shift it right here and it'll activate your 4-wheel drive. And then you can shift out of it pretty easily there. And of course, go into neutral for 4 low. I also like the shifter for your 5-speed automatic. This has to be one of the last old school Toyota transmissions. So it's really fun to see a brand new one right here. But yeah, it's pretty easy to use. You can put it into gear just like so. Very easy. I also like the cup holders as well. We have one here and here. But my favorite part is that you can actually remove this for bigger cups if you want. Again, not the best cup holders. I do wish they would have the little teeth gripping into it, but you get what you get given that it is a Toyota. We also have heated seats here too. I like how it's like a little dial instead of just 3 tiers. Down here is one of my favorite 4Runner features, as I'm sure anyone with a 4Runner knows. Push this guy down, and if my camera goes into focus, you can see that it opens and closes the back liftgate window. That part is really, really cool. Going back over here, we have a fully lockable glove box with a ton of space. You can see right down there. We also have some nice kind of like fake aluminum trim here. I do wish it was real, but again, it's a Toyota. That's to be expected. I really like these leather trim seats with the TRD badge right over here. They got some good bolstering. They are powered and once again heated, but they feel pretty good. Feels more like a pleather in my opinion, but they do feel nice and they'll last a very long time. Down here we got Toyota's typical bottle pockets where you can fit a full-size cup. Really appreciate that, and I love the red stitching throughout this interior. Looking up here, we have an auto-dimming mirror. We have your various terrain controls, because this does have multi-terrain select and kinetic suspension. And it's a really cool four-wheel drive mode where you can basically get through almost anything. It's a really sophisticated mode, and honestly, I only recommend it if you're gonna use the 4Runner for serious off-roading. If you're just gonna use it like a traditional SUV, such as maybe getting through the snow, you probably don't need all this, but it's nice to have. Traction control off is right there. You have your HomeLink garage door opener, convenience lights up here, as well as the door indicator. Another really cool thing is we have a sunroof that can be opened like so. And you can let even more of the outside air into your 4Runner. That part is very well welcomed. So this 4Runner is really meant for the outdoors. I especially like this old school clock right over here. We don't ever see these in Toyotas anymore. So this has got to be one of the last Toyotas to have the old school clock. Over here we have our traditional Toyota sun visors with convenience lights, and they don't extend, but we get this little extending guy, which is quite fun and might actually be more effective than extending the entire sun visor out, because then you have this entire length that's covered, and that is really well appreciated. But the Toyota 4Runner is a great space to be in. It's a terrific front end, but let's go ahead and jump to the back seat of the 4Runner, where we actually have a decent amount of room in the back. With this seat, my default driving position, I actually have a lot of leg room, and I actually have a little bit of headroom as well. Although traditionally 4Runners have had smaller back seats, it's nice to see that this one is a little bit bigger. Down here, we actually have two little convenience USB Type-C ports, which is nice given that this vehicle hasn't been updated in over 10 years. We also have our own air vent controls back here as well, which are openable and closable. We don't have our own temperature control, but it's nice that we have air vents at all. Down here, we got some little pockets down here. I also like that we have a full armrest with two very large cup holders, and I also like that the inserts are fully removable too. We get a nice little leather padding here, and it's definitely the widest and thinnest center console that I've seen in the back seat of one of these. But overall, the backseat of this 4Runner is a nice place to be. It offers a lot of room, and you can be on a nice road trip back here. Of course, your window controls are going to be right over here. You got some nice grab handles and the same bottle pockets that exist on the front. Now let's jump to the third row of this 4Runner, or not really the third row, but more so the liftgate area of the 4Runner, where unfortunately we don't get a power liftgate at this price point, but we got some nice struts to hold it up. Back here, we have a ton of rear seat storage back here. As a matter of fact, Toyota used to offer a third row back here. We even have a little household outlet and a 12-volt socket back here with tons of storage compartments throughout. But we can get even more room if we fold the seats. You can basically turn the back seat of your 4Runner into a van. As a matter of fact, let me jump in here and show you guys that there's actually quite a bit of room. You can almost lay down entirely, and that's especially nice if you want to go camping in the back of your 4Runner. You know, the 4Runner is a very popular adventure vehicle, and so you can get that with this 4Runner. You can see that the bottom of the seats slide forward, and then you fold these seats back and flip the headrest down. They fit into this nice little compartment. I also want to mention we have ISOFIX anchors everywhere, even for the middle seat. We also have a little pass-through, as you can see right here. So if I fold this seat up briefly, if I just give it a little bit of leverage, pull that back up, you can see that you can actually have a pass-through for the middle so you can carry longer items. That part is greatly appreciated. But let's go ahead and talk about the driving impressions of this Toyota 4Runner. Alrighty, what is this Toyota 4Runner like to drive? I want to start with the steering feel. The steering is a little bit lighter than something like a Toyota Tacoma, which you would compare this to realistically, but it still gives you plenty of steering feel. Now, looking at the pedals, you actually get pretty good acceleration out of this 4-liter V6, not right off the line, but gradually. It is a top-mounted pedal, which I obviously like my floor-mounted pedals better, but it's very responsive. The brake pedal also feels good, and stopping power is also tremendous. I also really like how we have a fully physical foot brake. You never see these on vehicles anymore, so it's definitely nice to see. We also have our dead pedal right over here. And overall, the driving experience is really good. The driving position is also great. Again, the tilt and telescoping steering wheel makes this extremely comfortable. Having the climate controls be fully physical and having fully physical buttons over here makes the driving experience even better. Plus, I also like the little clock. Very nostalgic. So overall, the Toyota 4Runner in this generation is terrific. However, if you want better than 19 miles to the gallon, I recommend you wait for one of the newer hybrid powertrain 4Runners that is supposedly going to be coming out in a couple of years, or Toyota's upcoming Land Cruiser with a 2.4-liter hybrid 4-cylinder. So it's honestly up to you guys. Would you guys rather have the old school power or more efficiency? Feel free to let me know, but I highly recommend the Toyota 4Runner as the ultimate 4x4 adventure vehicle for just about anybody, as long as you're not carrying too many things in the back, even though the back is still pretty big. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my review of this 2024 Toyota 4Runner 4x4 TRD Off-Road Premium. Be sure to check out my other Toyota car reviews, and thank you so much for watching.